This is the Power Morning Drive Show. My name is Anne Wanyoike and I'm your host. And I am in studio together with Collins and Diana Deche from the AYLF Ajibika Leadership Forum. And we are talking about youth participation in governance and leadership. But I want them to now talk about some of the programs that the AYLF forum houses under them. And I think I'll start with Diana. You could talk to us about the HLD and SLDP programs and what they are in full, what they are about, how can people join in. Yes, yada yada.
Okay, so as we had said earlier, AYLF nurtures a new breed of leaders in Africa. In Kenya, let's talk about in Kenya. We are in 54 universities. Yeah, so it's like a club in a school. So under that, we have like various programs. I'll start with HLD. HLD is High School Leadership Development Program. So here we focus on mentoring the high school kids. So in my school, I'm the coordinator, current coordinator of Mount Kenya University. We have a curriculum that we follow.
Yes.
We go teach them on values that a leader has to have. Have accountability, knowing when to stop, being proactive. Those are the things that you're supposed to know. You know, in Kiswahili wanasema samaki mkunje angali mbichi. So you start from uko chini. So HLD tunaanzia hapo. We go mentor them. And those that go mentor them, it's not just ordinary people. You as an individual, for me, we have a small training on what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to tell them about, how we engage them. So there's a little training over there that we undergo so that you become a mentor and you go mentor the high school kids. And then we have SLDP. SLDP is Student Leadership Development Program.
Yeah.
So for this, we pay for that.
Okay.
Either way, we pay for SLDP
Okay.
and we go for an 8-month training. It's an 8-month training. You learn you as a leader. Like right now on the university level, not in the high school,
Yeah.
at the university level, you understand what leadership is, what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to carry yourself, how are you supposed to talk with prominent people, how you're supposed to act, how you dress, your values, like such things. Yes. So it's for self-development most of the time.
Yes.
Before you go and lead others.
Yes.
It's like you have to fill your cup before you fill someone else's cup.
Yes.
So we learn, they train us and all that.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes, and there's other programs as well.
Yeah,
under
the other
ULF.
programs, as she has mentioned, is we have the alumni program. Basically, this is where the former AYLF members, maybe they were part of AYLF while they were in campus. This is a space where we catch up with our old friends from AYLF and basically talk about life and how life is unfolding for every one of us. So it's basically just a space where we come together and we talk and forge the way forward. Yeah.
Wow.
And then we have also the Salam program.
Yes.
Which is I can say it is a bridge between the Muslims and the Christians, whereby we try to show that there is no much difference between the Islam and Christianity, because what Muhammad stands for and what Jesus stands for are just the same things. About leadership, it is about looking for your brother, looking for reconciliation, taking care,
Serving others,
and looking for ways that bring us together as a society, as a community, because there is no much difference between Islam and Christianity, right? And this is where we just show that whether you are a Christian, whether you are a Muslim, we have an obligation. We have
to come together.
We have to come together as a people
work.
and make the country work.
Yeah.
Wow.
That
Serving
is
humanity. Yes.
Right. So what is a good leader? What makes a good leader? And this is a question for both of you. So you'll answer depending on what stands out for you. Start with Dana.
Let's start with a good leader. For me, I'll say that there are two kinds of leaders, a self-serving and a people-serving leader. So a good leader is a people-serving leader. You are not selfish. you lead people in the right way. You are honest with yourself first. You help people. You do what is right. You are accountable. Don't preach water and drink wine. Yeah, so that's a good leader for me. You lead people. You show humanity. And I can't say everyone is perfect, but let's say the bigger percentage of you live in the core values of Jesus or even Isa, like a good person. This is what you're supposed to do, helping the needy, teaching people, empowering people. Yeah, that's a good leader for me.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's basically about servant leadership. Like, if you're telling me how to do something, can you show it by example? What you can do, show me what you can do, then I can lead. Then I can follow you. I can follow your example. It is about basically what stands out is servant leadership. If you're talking to me about being having integrity,
Yes.
doing the right thing while there is no one watching,
Yeah.
you yourself, do you do the right thing before you come and tell me what to do? How show me how it is done. Yeah, basically that is it. And I think many people, this is a challenge. Integrity is really a very great aspect of leadership. This is where we filter the leaders and the non-leaders.
Yeah.
So it is basically how you do the things that you say you should do. Yeah, how you carry yourself as a person.
Yes.
When no one is watching.
When no one is watching.
Right.
Before you go out there
Yeah.
and tell people what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say as one of the biggest challenges that young people face when it comes to governance issues?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is that the youth in this country are not taken seriously, and the youth too, they don't take themselves seriously. They look, it is like empathy. You feel like what if I say what I say, will it really matter at the end of the day? Ninaenda huko kufanya participation, lakini sasa kitu yenye nitasema, will it be put under during the decision making process? Will it be considered? Yeah, and I think many times we've seen the youth have meetings with our president, talking about maybe the university funding model. That is a very key issue that has been talked about by the youth in this country, but they don't seem to be listened to. The president does not seem to give enough attention to this matter. Yeah, and I think that is when you feel like now we are going to talk about this university funding model for how long until we get the attention that we are demanding. Yeah, and I feel like this is what we must really look into, because the youth in this country make up to 80%. 80% of the population, of the Kenyan population, is below 35 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I can say we are also afraid, like when I go speak out, what if, especially the cases of abduction during the Manamano, there were a lot.
Yes.
So imagine you're out there, yes, defending your right, and you get abducted. So you're like at home, and like my parents won't be happy with this. What happened? Then like at home, your parents tell you, how wengine unaona hawako ni nini, tulia, like just relax, man. Yeah, just be home. So we are also afraid. And I guess another thing is we are not educated enough. That's why we advocate for civil education in Ajibika.
Yeah.
We go out there for city forums. We've gone to Mombasa, we've been in Nairobi. We educate them on their rights, on what you're supposed to do. So most of us lack the education on what is really going on, what is the right way to do certain things. Yes.
And does it translate? What has been the reception from, especially the university students, with when you go to civic education forums? What has been their reception? Do you feel that it translates?
Yes, it's so good. I'll give you a good example. During our last city forum, we were talking about petitions, how the youth can participate in policy making, how they can reach the government. And then there was this policy of the government increasing the president 5 years to 7. Those are petition going on, and most youth really signed it, because you'll enter into social media status, you'll see someone posting, hey, you guys sign this, sign this.
Yeah.
And I think they said about 90% of the people signed that thing. Yeah, so you see, through that they listened, and they know this is my right. How am I going to do this, or how am I going to take part in this? During one of the things we said were petitions, and they really did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is just not much room for civic education.
Yeah.
Because when we come to these city forums, we find that the youth are hungry. They need to know. Yeah, there is many different types of people, but at the same time, I feel like the majority of the youth really want to know this. How is public participation done before for every policy? What are the stages of public participation? And they really, you feel like the urge, they want to know. They are asking questions. They need to know who are these people, how can we hold them accountable, how can we do participate, where do we participate, where do we file petition, where do we send them, and what have you. So I feel like we should really look into how the avenues where we can educate the youth on these matters.
Awesome. So we did talk about holding the government accountable, right? And I think this is something that young people are, as you've said, are very, I guess, sort of skeptical and afraid of doing, because again, we've seen whether it's abductions, others have been killed, or forceful arresting of the same as well. But what would your message to young Kenyans be in terms of them not being afraid to fully plug into this, fully plug into this space, because it inawahusu.
Knowing their rights. You see, the Constitution, as I said earlier, it's a blueprint of the nation. It shows you your rights. So once you know that this is my right, you won't be afraid. And something else is you should have the knowledge on the steps. Before I approach, let's say the judiciary, there's some issues in the community. You don't go. There's some issues you don't go to the Supreme Court. There's some things you can just settle with the Mzee wa Mtaa in Kijiji. So they should know the right steps. Who am I approaching first? Am I starting with the law court, like the Court of Appeal, step by step, and they know who sasa to approach on such matters. So holding the government accountability, they should first know that, yes, I have a right to do so. That is one. And they should also know the right procedure to do that. Because you'll find most of them on Twitter, yes, you use Twitter a lot. This is not right, blah, 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 must go, this and this and this must go. But that is not the right procedure to tackle that matter. We should have the knowledge of knowing the right procedure to go about that thing.
Yeah. Collins.
It is, just as Diana said, the Constitution stipulates, well, like in the Article 1 of the Constitution, talks about the sovereignty of the people and the supremacy of the Constitution. Basically, it talks about how the power belongs to the people, and they can either exercise it directly or through elected representatives. And how do you exercise power directly? It is by participation. And holding these leaders accountable is part of participation. And just as can say Morara Kebas has been doing, it takes a lot of energy to do what he's doing, and you can really see the challenges that he's going through. It is not easy in these at these times to go against the government, but it is your right. You must do it. You must not fear. You should not fear doing it, because the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. And
now today. Today.
Thank you for that correction.
Yes.
And the youth are the leaders of today, and if you don't take action today, then your future is going to be messed up. So whether you like it or not, it is something that you must do.
Yes.
Yeah, you must go to the ground, do a social audit, and there is something called the Auditor General's report and the Control of Budget report, where all the projects that are being done by the government stipulated down. They are being written down. The money spent and the progress of the projects that are being done. That is where Morara Kebaso has been finding his information and giving out to
Going on
the public.
ground
Yeah, going to
and
going to
actually
the
showing
ground.
us.
And we've seen how this really there is a lot of corruption.
Yeah.
Really, there is a lot of corruption. You find that a project has been allocated maybe 200
Millions.
and then there is nothing going on.
Right.
They just maybe a foundation.
Yeah.
And then contractor anaenda. Maybe the funds were not released because maybe somebody somewhere went away with the funds.
That's true.
Or maybe the contractor colluded with somebody and then the funds zikapotea hivyo and there is no project on the ground. Wananchi wana complain.
And someone might be asking, where can I get this information?
Yes,
Everything
please.
is out there in the internet. We have My Government. If you check My Government magazine, you get what's going on in the government. If it's about the control budget, there's a site where you can go Google. Recently, I was with him actually. We were analyzing the Nairobi DD control budget and we were just getting angry because this is the money allocated and then the money that was given to the budget, the money that was given to them, and then what they used, they delivered, it's nothing. Like you go check and you're like,
absolutely nothing.
So when you go through that, you get to know what happens in your community, what happens in your county, and you hold them accountable.
It never translates. Wow. Guys, I'm loving this conversation, but allow us to just take one quick break. We come back and we will conclude with our day's conversation around the youth participation in governance and leadership. Keep it Power Radio.